Welcome to you, my dear friends and parishioners, to our reflection for the 22nd Sunday in Ordinary Time on Matthew's Gospel, chapter 16, verses 21 to 27. And the theme is a rock, not a stumbling block. Is there anything that shouldn't surprise us is how often we can trip ourselves and fall over many things in life, over decisions, over relationships, over remarks. Often our words can be misheard or misinterpreted and taken out of context and cause misunderstanding and even anger. I remember when I was accompanying the former Archbishop Gregory Yong in 1987 at our first youth rally in Toa Payoh Stadium to show him around and to see the display of all the Catholic organizations that had set up booths there. When I came to one Catholic organization, I innocently made a remark: "This is a powerful organization." In my mind, it was a compliment. But the leader of that group took offense and felt insulted at what I had said in front of the Archbishop. He wanted to rebuke me for my comments and even made a complaint against me. Peter in our Gospel this week was put on the hot seat when he tried to get ahead of Jesus to block his path in suffering grievously in Jerusalem at the hands of religious leaders who were determined to get rid of him. Jesus already predicted his own agony, death, and resurrection. But Peter was not going to hear any of such things, as they did not understand the plan of God in saving us in the way of the cross. That seemed to be a bad idea. It was incomprehensible. Yet Jesus was firm in his commitment to fulfill the will of God and strongly rebuked Peter. "Get behind me, Satan. You are an obstacle in my path, because what you're thinking is not God's thinking but man's." So Peter, who was declared by Jesus in the previous Sunday's reading as the rock in which he will build the church, has suddenly become a stumbling block. As a follower, his place is to walk behind the Master and not stand in front to block his way. Sometimes we allow pride, ignorance, and insolence to get the better of us in our Christian living out of our faith, and we trip ourselves and fall. What is worse, that we make others behind us fall as well. Out of this fiasco, Jesus brings out an important lesson to his disciples and to us: the lesson of love in self-denial and in self-sacrifice. If anyone wants to be a follower of mine, let him renounce himself and take up his cross and follow me. For anyone who wants to save his life will lose it, but anyone who loses his life for my sake will find it. Indeed, the world has nothing worthwhile to offer us. Not power, money, nor pleasure will satisfy us. Only the love of Jesus and doing his will can bring us peace and joy, as St. Monica had prayed with tears for the conversion of her son, St. Augustine. She said, "For my part, my son, I no longer find pleasure in anything that this life holds. What I'm doing here still, or why I'm still here, I do not know, for worldly hope has withered away from me. One thing only there was for which I desired to linger in this life, to see you a Catholic Christian before I die." Thankfully, her wish was granted by God. So let us be mindful in our place in life to follow Christ, to build our lives on the solid rock of faith, hope, and love, and not be a stumbling block to others in their desire to follow him and to serve the Lord. So we have two questions that we put on the screen for reflections. The first is, how can I lead others to Christ and not stand in the way of their desire to follow him? The second question is, when I trip and fall, who has been there to help me up? And so on that note, I invite you to join me to pray Mary's prayer of protection. O Mary, you always shine on our path as a sign of salvation and of hope. We entrust ourselves to you, health of the sick, who at the cross took part in Jesus' pain, keeping your faith firm. You, salvation of the Roman people and of the whole world, know what we need, and we are sure you will provide, so that as in Cana of Galilee, we may return to joy and to feasting after this time of trial. Help us, Mother of Divine Love, to conform to the will of the Father, and to do as we are told by Jesus, who has taken upon himself our sufferings and carried our sorrows, to lead us through the cross to the joy of the resurrection. Under your protection, we seek refuge. Holy Mother of God, do not disdain our entreaties of we who are in trial, but deliver us from every danger. O glorious and blessed Virgin. Amen. So thank you for spending time to look at this reflection. May you continue to grow in grace and be a rock and not be a stumbling block to others in their love of Christ and in following Christ. Have a good weekend. God bless all of you.